Hey, welcome to the Peanut Gallery.
Oh, thank you.
We're excited to have you here. We are talking today about Aylmer. Aylmer, so if you guys can see our nice little poster in the background. We live in a town that probably about a year ago nobody knew existed. If you're from London, you wouldn't have even known where Aylmer was.
That's true.
Now, 2 years later, we are very well known around the world. And so what we're going to talk about today, a couple things. One is being a small business in Aylmer. And the second really is kind of talking about some of the awesome things that have actually happened through some of this. Lots of negative that's gone on in Aylmer. We've heard lots of negative, but there's a lot of good things happening. And we love being in Aylmer. I've said it often in our podcasts and our sermons. Like, I love where I live. I think we have great people here. But that's not necessarily what the media, those aren't headlines that sell. So one of the things that we wanted to do with this podcast was talk to a local business owner, and Helen, you happen to be the one that we thought of first, as to what it was like to be in Aylmer as a small business and kind of get to know our small businesses more. So hopefully in time, as other people hear this, and as long as me and you don't screw this up too badly and it doesn't suck too much, we're hoping to get some other small businesses on there, because I always like hearing the stories, especially coming from small businesses and why you're here, what you're doing. So why don't we start with that? Enough about me. So Helen Brennemen.
That's right.
I nailed it. Brennemen.
You nailed it. Yes.
All right. Okay. So Helen, you are one of the owners at Johnny's?
Yes. I'm co-partner with Nettie Harms.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a friend of mine, and we've worked together for like over 10 years. And when this opportunity came up, we bought the business together.
Okay.
So.
All right, so let's get to know Helen just a little bit more. I think that's always interesting. We know you make good food because I've donated a decent amount in the last little while, at least. Yes, we have done well donating. We love it. So tell me a little bit about yourself, where you came from, a little family. Give me a bit of background.
All right. Okay. So I was born in Mexico.
Where in Mexico? Which DARP?
Oh, geez, don't ask me that. I
was
6 when I came here.
All the English people are like, what is a DARP? A DARP is like a German word for city.
Well, actually, I remember we came from Lavatea. So
Lavatea. I don't know where that is.
So wherever.
North, south, middle, east?
Oh, I don't know. Don't ask me too many. Yeah. So I was pretty young when we came here. Yeah, so my mom was a widow. My father passed away when I was 6.
Okay. So,
and it was getting to the point where being a widow, that things were being distributed. We had a farm, so, and obviously we were losing things. People would, I don't know if you know how things work down there, that I guess a lot of times people come and say, like, your husband owes me this, your husband, my mother did not know anything about any of the finance. Here I go with my hands.
Yeah, that's fine. No, move them away.
Anyway, long story short, came to the point where they were starting to put us children into foster homes.
Really?
And I was one of them. This is kind of a little bit of a funny story. My sister was put in a foster home to this family, and so they brought her back because all she did was cry. She's almost 2 years younger than I am, so she just cried because she missed. This is strange for her, right? Oh,
that's got to be crazy.
Yeah,
you lost your dad, and now you're losing family.
So you have a widow with 11 children, right?
Oh wow.
So and it's hard. Yep. Right. So anyway, so they brought her back and they asked if I wanted to go. So obviously, okay, whatever you do, what you're told. So I went there and we were there. I think I was there like for about 8 months. And then all of a sudden my, I guess 2 of my uncles, they got together with my mom and figured out to bring us to Canada, where we would have a better life so that she could keep her children.
Yeah.
So, we were so excited to come to Canada. Canada was... it was another world. Yeah. And it was just like unbelievable coming here. And so I'm a true Canadian 100%.
Do you like hockey?
Oh,
do you say really? Really?
Do you know what? I'm 100% Canadian. Not that I'm a huge hockey fan. No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to lie.
All right, fine.
I can tolerate it.
All right.
Let's put it that way. I can tolerate it. Put it that way. But
okay, so you moved from Mexico. You moved here. Why here? Did you have
family?
Okay.
Yeah. So my uncle lived here, and he was very kind and he helped my mom, get started. So we did all the things. Our first job was picking cucumbers as a family.
Oh, nice. That's
that's
what a
how
great job that is. Hey,
you know what? And we had fun.
Did you?
No, seriously, we did. We ate cucumbers all summer long. We were very poor, but to this day, Gurkenbroden. A lot of people don't know what that is. Gurkenbroden. You don't even know what that is. So that is something that my mom made. It's fried cucumbers. It's like a fried cucumber stew.
What?
And you put meat in and stuff. It's absolutely amazing. You eat it with homemade fresh buns. Oh, we lived off of that.
That sounds really good.
Okay, so can we put the recipe in this? Can we put a link to that?
Oh, wow, probably could. Yeah. But that was very, I always just thought that everybody did that because that's just what our family did.
Yeah.
And you know what? When you're poor,
Yep.
you become creative. We had all the cucumbers in the world, so that's what my mom made the best use out of it. And so anyway, long story short, that's how we came here. And we came to Aylmer. We also lived in Leamington. We moved around a lot because of, working as a family, like field work. So picking tomatoes, cucumbers, cherries, whatever there was, So we moved around to Wheatley, Leamington, Purple, Aylmer. But Aylmer was always my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, we moved back to Aylmer when I was 15, and we never moved back. We've stayed here ever since, and so I'm a true Aylmerite.
And true Aylmerite, I know, right?
True Aylmerite, and I love Aylmer.
Okay, so just for us Mennonites who are listening, Brennemen, it's not a Mennonite name to me. Like I got Lowen, Dyke, I know those.
So my husband, I met him, and in Shedden actually, he was my best friend's best friend.
Okay.
So that's how we met. So I was a maid of honor at my friend's wedding, and Dean was the best man at their wedding.
Oh, okay.
And hence we started dating 2 weeks afterwards, and got married 2 years later, and here we are. We have 3 beautiful boys and beautiful grandson, awesome daughter-in-law. So our family is...
And those are all the right things to say
those
when,
are all
when
the
they're
right
listening.
things.
They're beautiful. They're perfect.
Yes, they
they're
are.
Wonderful.
They're wonderful.
No, that's fantastic. And you know what I love about hearing stories is you never know where anybody comes from. So I had no idea about that. I mean, I know that you are Johnny's, and you kind of shoot the breeze here and there, but that's a crazy story because I'm just thinking too of a lot of people, and we talked about this when we talked about our Mennonite Myths one, but there's a lot of judgment towards the Mennonite families that came up here for the summers. Mm-hmm. And some of that is we never heard those stories. Yeah. What you see is just a bunch of kids come up and they pick cucumbers, and you think to yourself, well, that seems cruel that they're making their kids work. And I know there is some of that. Mm-hmm. But I wonder how many other stories are like this, where this is how we're.
But you know what?
Going
to us, that was just normal. You worked together as a family. That's what we did. Right. Like we went to school in the wintertime. We didn't go on holidays. In the summer, a lot of kids went on holidays with their parents and stuff like that. That wasn't. Well, obviously we were a poor family, right? Yeah. My mom was a widow raising all these children on her own. So we did what we had to do to, help support the family. And. My mom was always such a wonderful, hardworking person, and she never got remarried. She raised us children the best that she could, and she made mistakes, and but we all do. Yeah. You know,
my father-in-law has a similar story. I don't know if you know them, and I guess it doesn't really matter. But one of the things we've often talked, so he lost his dad when he was very young as well, in Mexico, and talking about his mom and her resilience, like the hell they went through. I mean, when you're in Mexico, especially during that time, like there isn't a social service system to help you out. You don't have a government bailout. You don't have anything. You are
don't
on
have
your
welfare.
own.
You don't
nothing.
No.
And so that type of resilience, and we've often commented that for us who've grown up in privilege for the most part, we lack some of that resilience that generation had. I certainly miss people like that. She passed away a few years ago, but it'd be really nice now in the middle of this pandemic to be able to reach out to them and go, I need some of your strength, because clearly you have an incredible amount of strength to be able to pull off what you did. Yeah,
the struggles that they went through, we've never, we remember some of them as children, right?
Sure.
Being younger, but now we haven't gone through any of it like what they have. So, you know.
Very cool. Okay, so let's jump ahead a little bit here.
Okay.
So you got into cooking somehow.
Well, actually, I'm not a cook.
You're not a cook.
No.
So no credit. Here I've been complimenting you the entire time. Okay.
No. You can compliment Johnny's.
Okay.
Compliment Nettie. Nettie is the brains, the master behind all the magic in the kitchen.
Except for she hasn't figured out, what did you call it?
Gurkenbruden? Yeah, she didn't know what that was either. Maybe that's just my family. Maybe that's just my family special recipe, right? But no, she is just amazing at what she does. Everything that she does, it all goes to her.
Okay.
So she manages the kitchen and I manage the front. So we make a really good team. You know, she has her territory and I have mine, but we work together. You know, we always talk about things, and you know, like if we need to change things, or I ask her for advice and she asks me for advice sometimes. You know, but yeah, no. As far as the cooking goes, I cannot take the credit.
All right. Well, that's some good humility and honesty on your part.
Yeah.
So let's talk about running a restaurant. Now, running a restaurant is challenging from what I understand at the best of times.
Right.
So talk to me a little bit about what it takes to run a restaurant successfully, and then we'll kind of get into the new complications under COVID.
Well, you know, I always say, you know, when people talk about, oh, it looks like so much fun, they want to open up a restaurant, they want to do this. And from my experience, I always just say, you know what, go work on one first before you decide just to open one up. If you work on one first, then you learn from the inside out. And then you can figure out if you enjoy it, if you love it. If you don't love what you do, then I wouldn't suggest it. Because there's a lot to it. It's very demanding. The food industry is a very demanding, hard business to be in.
Right.
You know, very competitive. So, and that's like for me, like I started working in a restaurant when I was 18. And I've always loved it. You know, love the people. I love working in a restaurant. And so for me, it just became normal.
Yep.
You know, like through the years, I tried doing different things. Like worked in a factory once. I, for 3 days, thought, oh, you know what, I need a change. And went and worked in a factory for 3 days. And it's like, oh my gosh, what did I do? I made such a mistake. So I called my boss and said, by any chance, did you hire anybody yet? He says, no, you want your job back? I said, sure, I'll take my job back. So he kept my job. He kind of figured I would, you know, so you try, you know, if you did different things. And then you finally realize, you know, like where your heart is and what you love. So
I was just talking with somebody this morning about that. 40 hours is a long time to spend in something you don't enjoy.
Yeah.
And I think if you can find a job that you enjoy, but I think part of the issue is exactly what you're saying. I think people are afraid to try.
Yeah.
Try something.
Yeah.
Try a different place. Try a different career. Try something. Because I remember, so I worked in a factory for a couple of years, and there were two types of people, basically. Those who were like, I'm stuck because I'm getting paid too much, so I can't quit. And those people who authentically enjoyed being there.
Yeah, they do.
And they were happy, and they showed up, and they just thought, this is... And so I just always think, I love that. Just try something. So if you think restaurant is, try it. And if it's not, try something else. I think it's part of what makes our culture and our community and everything so incredibly good. And when you go to a restaurant and there's somebody who doesn't enjoy working there, you figure it out pretty quick.
Yeah,
pretty quick.
And you know, I used to always have customers tell me, said, you know, you can tell that you really enjoy your job. And which I did, you know, and I do. Yeah. You know, like even through all the trials and stuff. But it always goes back to, like, I love what I do. And God has me there for a reason. So, you know.
Yeah, I would always give you guys lots of credit. I worked at McDonald's for a year in college, and I sucked. I was not quick enough, I can tell you that much. But the other thing is people come there hungry, and when they're hungry, they're angry. And food is never quick enough. It's not warm enough. It's not, and so it's challenging. How do you navigate? I didn't even tell you I was going to ask you this, but I'm just curious now. Okay. So what do you think is the secret to navigating a grumpy, hungry customers?
You just give them the food as fast as you can.
Food as fast as you can, just throw it together.
Yeah, you know what? And that is one of the things that I love is when you, and you know, when people do come in irritated, you know, they have either had a rough day or they're hungry or whatever. And, you know, and we're really good at getting people in and out quick. You know, you tell me you're in a hurry, you know what, I can get you in and out. You know, usually like in about 15, 20 minutes. Yeah. You know, like if it depends on how busy it is. But yeah, you know what, the best thing is, you know what, just you encourage them to order right away, If you tell me what you want right away, then we can get you in and out quickly. So,
Do you have any good stories? Like any? Now people are listening, so maybe you're like,
well, then sometimes it's putting people on the spot, and yeah, there's like I always tell a lot of stories, and then I say I could write a book, and some very interesting customers, and you know what I would say, like about 90% of the customers, there's all good stories.
Yeah.
You have some bad ones.
Sure.
But
that's every industry, though.
Yeah. You know what? I enjoy a challenge, though.
I'm just curious, like, am I one of the 10%? Like, I'm trying to remember.
Almost, most definitely, yes.
I can't say that on air. No,
yeah, right?
no.
All right, so there was this guy whose name's Albert.
No, I think our customers, like overall, like I would say 90% of the customers, you can usually please them.
Yeah.
And then there's the ones that, for whatever reason, they're just having a bad day. Something is going wrong. But, by being nice to them and by the time they leave, they're happy.
I think that's part of the cool thing about what you were saying, that you feel like God has put you in this place. And obviously not everybody believes that, but I think we feel like there's a calling that we have in our lives and where we can work. And I think that's one of the coolest things you can do, because people do come in. There's something that's very spiritual is maybe too strong of a word, but there's something really special about eating together. There's something special about being at a place and enjoying a good meal. Like it's one of my favorite parts about being alive. Like I love cooking, I love eating, I love trying new things. And I think so the role you play, even in making our community better, I think it's a huge impact. And somebody does come in and they're having a rough day. And I think especially during COVID, and I think this is kind of where I want to head from here is during COVID, you guys have a really neat opportunity to meet people where they're at. They're not coming in with fakeness. They're coming in, this is who I am. And
oh, yeah. Yeah. You know what? People are just so, I would say the most part that what breaks my heart is what I see when people, like when they come in, they're so fearful. The fear in people's eyes, like they're literally scared from one way or another. They are just, and like by making them feel safer and by making them feel better, by the time they're done eating, by the time they leave, like you can tell that there's such a difference, right? They leave a little bit happier, a little bit more secure or whatever. So, and you know what, and that is a challenge on its own before COVID even, like to make people feel the dining experience. When they want to go out, they want to have a good dining experience and conversation. So like part of it's not just giving them the food and, give them the bill and get out. You know what? They come there for conversation. They, like with the servers or, with the owners or even other people, other customers. Like Aylmer is so friendly. Like the people that we see come in our restaurant, and this is one of the challenges. People are so friendly. And when they come in the restaurant, they always see somebody that they know, and they're talking to this person, to that person, and and it's just a habit that you want to say hi, right? And so now that's one of the challenges now with the COVID restrictions in a restaurant. A lot of people don't realize that this is a thing, that you're not supposed to go from table to table talking to people. They and people just forget that. And I feel so bad. I constantly have, I have to tell people, said, I'm sorry, you're not supposed to stand and talk, feel like such a heel, honestly, and people just need to talk to each other and say hi, like it just brightens people's day. And
I don't think we want to spend too much time on this, but all small business owners, and I mean really all businesses, have really been caught in the middle of a very difficult place.
Right.
Because even if you do, there's some that forget, but then there's some that just don't want to follow the rules. Right. And then there are some that are so hard on the rules that if you step left one time the wrong way, they're mad. And I think for businesses, that's one of the tension that I've sensed from everybody. There's just always this fear. And you're trying to please everybody and trying to make the rules go, because if we don't get the rules to go, we're going to close.
Yeah.
And so I sense, especially after this last lockdown was lifted, like a lot of the business I went into, they were so strict because they so desperately wanted to stay open.
Right, exactly.
And so it puts you guys in such a challenge. And we could spend a lot of time talking about the negative. We really didn't want to focus on the negative of COVID because that's where I think everybody else is focused on. But what I want to talk about is so as a restaurant, what are some of the things that when you're looking right now what you're doing, that you've innovated and you've changed and you've tried new things, what do you think is working and what parts of your restaurant do you think are going to come out better because of this challenge?
Oh, wow. Okay, let me wrap my head around that one. Okay, so, repeat that question.
All right, what are some of the things that you feel like you guys have innovated in or done? So I'll give you one of the I think you guys have done the meals to go.
Right. So like the dinners at home. So like everybody's getting more creative and trying to make things work with the restrictions that we have. So you have to try different things. So like our dinners at home, we do those, which we do every Thursday. Every week it's a different dinner. And you can freeze them. It's half-size dinners for 2 people and full-size dinners for 4. So people are really liking
Unless
those.
you're a huge family like us, then we have to get 2 full-size. Anyway, but carry on.
But they're very generous portions, right? So like we do that, and you just get creative. But actually, what we did this weekend was Nettie made some Wuttermaus. So, you just have to try some different things. Like
you have to explain that again. She made some what?
Okay, so I guess, sorry, German people know what Wuttermaus is. So
I'm German and I don't even know it.
Really? You don't know
I know Malkmaus, so I think it's somewhere similar to that.
Okay, so I'm introducing some new things to you.
Yes.
So Wuttermaus is like a fruit cold soup. Okay, that sounds okay.
Doesn't
Okay. No, okay.
Trevor, can you imagine going in a restaurant and under the description is fruit cold soup? You're like, what?
Oh my God.
Okay. So maybe that's not explained properly. Okay. So fruit. Okay, how does Nettie explain this in High German? She speaks High German as well. So
well, if you explain in High German, that helps me nothing.
No. Okay. So fruit compote is a real translation. That is a real. Man, in that way. Okay, it's a fruit compote.
Is it delicious?
It's very delicious.
Okay,
I
so
should have brought
you did a
some.
delicious thing called
Wuttermaus.
Mouse.
Okay, that's a German
Water
translation.
mouse.
It's not. No, and we're not. No, it's not mouse. Okay. But anyway, it's just a word. But anyway, it is really good. It's kind of like a fruit salad. Do you know? Like I don't know.
The
But
point is, it's good.
It's good.
It's good.
So you know what? You try some different things, and yeah.
Why are we talking about this again? Okay. Innovation.
Right. So innovation, trying some different things. And some things work and some don't. So, you just have to get creative. And people constantly, they ask for different things for us to put on the menu. But we have such a big menu. So if we put something new on, that means we have to try take some things off because it's just so huge, right?
Yeah.
Because a challenge on its own is keeping the inventory, like during this lockdown and with takeout only. So we don't have dine-in. So you imagine all the inventory that we have for dine-in when we're so busy.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden it's just takeout.
Yeah.
Where do you cut back so that you're not wasting? You're not. So Nettie has a huge challenge in the kitchen, and that's for any restaurant.
Yep.
So a lot of restaurants, they do cut back on what they have on their menu. So far, we offer everything on the menu. So Nettie's been able to work that out really well. That takes a lot, but she has been able to work that out. So, yeah, we're pretty good at doing that. So,
okay, one thing I want to touch on before we run out of time here. You talked about a lot of good things coming out of this and some of the things that you're seeing in the community.
Oh, yeah. Like everybody's trying to come up with different ideas to bring more love and to bring people together. Like in Aylmer, they're doing different things. Like, the one day I was just so amazed. I just ran an errand and I saw all these little heart shapes on the trees and on the posts, with little notes and stuff, encouragement. And I really enjoyed walking down the street and just reading these.
Yeah.
It just kind of brightened my day. So like people are doing a lot of different things. And from talking to customers, like everybody wants to talk when they come in.
Yep.
Everybody is stressed. Everybody's got something to say. Yep. But a lot of it, and I've had people tell me that they were so, being so divided, they're tired of it.
Yeah.
They're tired of it. They're just trying to figure out what's going on, and they want to make it better. Yeah. Everybody does. We all do. Yeah. We all love Aylmer.
Yeah, we do.
Or else we wouldn't be here.
Right.
Aylmer's a great town. We have great community people. Yeah. And generally, people work really well together. And, like we have great staff. And that's one of the things I was going to say, like with all this is huge challenge is it's hard on the staff,
Yeah.
right? The restaurant industry, for one, has been hit really hard. And so, now people are starting to look at getting out of the restaurant industry. I know people that are looking for other full-time jobs because this constantly being locked down and takeout only, people are losing their jobs.
Yep.
You know what? You don't have. It's so unsure of what's going on with the restaurant industry, right? So, they want something more full time. And I feel sorry for our staff, like, well, for us too. It's hard for everybody, right?
Yeah.
But
do you? I think as a closing question here, and maybe before I do that, even I'd encourage people, if you're going to take out local.
Exactly.
You guys have a great, one of my favorite is the, and I've been trying to think of the name already, your breakfast, your skillet, your Johnny's.
The Johnny's Skillet.
Johnny's Skillet.
Yeah.
That is my go-to. I love it. I think one of the best breakfasts out there. But what would you say to business owners who are struggling, or maybe other restaurants? What do you have for encouragement, or maybe a lesson that you've learned? Because it's one thing to keep the restaurant going. It's another thing to keep yourself going.
Exactly. The only thing that I can think of is, just support each other. Do you know what? We order from other restaurants in town. We do takeout, we do pizza, we do whatever. And, you just want to support each other. I go to the taco wagon if I want a taco. And, and sometimes, people kind of look at, when you go through a McDonald's drive-through, sometimes people look at you like, what are you going through McDonald's for? You have a restaurant, right? Yeah. But, sometimes, I'm sorry, but I crave a Big Mac, Yeah. So you try to keep it local as much as possible.
Yep.
So, and I think everybody just support each other. Like, basically, I think that's all I got to say.
Awesome. No, it's awesome. And I think controlling the things that you can control. And I think there's a lot of anger directed at things that we can't control.
Right.
But I think there's a lot of things we can control. And what we can control is where we spend our time, our finances. I know one of my big things has been that there's a lot of people angry at the impact on small businesses. If everybody who's angry about the impact on small businesses were choose to actually spend all their money at small businesses, it would help people a lot more than just expressing anger on Facebook.
Exactly.
And I think that's one of the big things that I think coming out of COVID, one of the coolest things is that I think have found community again. And I think the world got really small, which was cool in some ways, but you drove everywhere for everything. And the idea of supporting your neighbor, supporting a local business, it never even crossed your mind. You just kind of, wherever's got the cheapest price. And now we're starting, I think, to see the impact of that. And I hope we come out of this and all the communities are closer. And I think for Aylmer, I think, we've been divided. Yeah, there's been some anger. But I think it's also opened up some really cool conversations. And I think it's forced people to look and reflect. And I hope at least that a lot of people feel like us, I love Aylmer more now than I did before. And I've been able to have some of the best conversations I've ever had with people during this time because they're open.
Exactly.
And they're wanting to discuss. And so.
And everybody has a lot to say. And you know what? I just think by being positive and, we all complain. We all have hard days and we complain and stuff. But just, be positive and just help each other out and, promote each other. Yep. I think that's, and don't give up. When things are going bad or whatever. And I just keep saying, you know what? I'm not giving up. I don't think that's what God would want us to do, is just to give up. Right. And I'm not ready to give up. Yeah. We're gonna keep going. Awesome. And we've hit rock bottom a lot of times, through this. But you know what? We're hanging in there. So, but we have great support. So we really appreciate all our customers, and we want to thank all our customers that keep supporting us. And and our community, our mayor and, our Aylmer police. And you know what? We have such great people in our town,
Awesome. Well, hey, I want to say thank you. We are out of time. I want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for what you do in the town. I encourage everybody watching, support local, support your neighbors. And I like what you said. Don't give up. We will come out the other side.
We will.
It may not be tomorrow, but we will come out the other side. So keep going. Thanks again. We'll talk to you again soon.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Take care.